Hello, everyone, and welcome to a live stream with me today, Heather Austin, on my channel. I'm super excited to see you guys. I have missed you. It's been a little while since I've done a live stream, so I'm so happy that you guys are here with me. If you can hear audio and you can see me, make sure you give this video a big, huge thumbs up so that I know that you're here and that everything's working properly. We have so many amazing tips to cover with you today. We are talking about resume writing trends, what's hot and what's not. In fact, I'm going to share with you six resume trends that will get you more interviews moving into this new year. So I'm super excited to have you guys here. I know a lot of you jumped into the chat early this morning to say hello, and I love seeing familiar faces. Like I said, I've missed you guys. I actually love coming online and interacting with you. Even if I'm just talking to you, I know that you're there because you say hi in the chat. And by the way, if you haven't yet said hi, make sure you say hi in the chat. Tell me where you are joining from today in this world that we live in. And also, if you have any questions that you need answered about your career, anything related to your resume, since we will be focusing on that today, anything just about your job search, the interview process, LinkedIn, all that good stuff that will help you land your dream job so that you can grow in a career you love, make sure you get that question in. And by the way, before I jump into all the juicy tips that I have to share with you, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, hit the subscribe button because I want you to be notified when I do these live trainings or when I publish a new video every week to help you get ahead in your career. And before I jump into all my awesome slides that I have for you, I have some really good visuals to share with you guys today. We are running a flash sale on our Career Advancement Toolkit. We will share more about that at the end with links and all the good stuff inside that. If you need more attention, more just a more personalized feel to your job search, something to help you get ahead of your competition, you're going to want to stick around for that. And we have resume reviews. Oh my goodness. We had hundreds of submissions. By the way, Tori's here. She is my team member. She's here in the chat, monitoring the chat. She's also going to be taking your questions. She has been, and we have both been sorting through resumes. She's been in my inbox the last couple of days. Thanks, Tori, by the way. She helps me manage my inbox. When I do a live event, we normally get an in-stream of emails about the event. So she's been on the other side helping me manage that and make this live stream possible. So thanks, Tori, so much for being here and for taking everyone's questions. So let's jump into the good content. I want to say hello to a couple of you. I see April's here. Hello, April. I know that I saw Colleen is here. Hello, Colleen. So happy that you're here. Kristen is here. Susan is here. Kim, hello. Iris is here. MB is here from Salt Lake City. Woohoo! Kamar is here. I want to say hello to all of you guys. I know there's a lot of you here. I ask questions during these live events, so get your typing fingers ready and also make sure you're ready to take notes because I have a lot of really good stuff to share with you guys today. You're definitely going to want to take notes and get questions in. Again, Tori will be getting those to me as we are doing this live stream. So I have a bunch of screens up. Let me get to the right screen because we are going to just jump right into it, you guys. We are not wasting any time here. So resume writing trends, what's hot and what's not. I'm going to share with you 6 resume hacks that will get you more interviews this year. Now, before we jump into the hacks, I want to share with you guys just some of the results of others as they attend these live trainings. So if this is your first time attending a live training of mine, you know that I'm interactive. I ask you questions. I share slides. We do a Q&A at the end, and I also have a special offer for you at the end. Especially the live resume review show. This is one of my favorites because I'm a very visual learner, and I love to see if I'm learning something, I want to know what someone's doing that's working and maybe what someone else is doing that's not working. So I'm going to share with you guys some of those reviews in just a second here. But I want to share just a couple success stories with you. If you're feeling discouraged or just disheartened by your job search and where you're going. So I want to share with you what Amber said. She says, my first week at my new job is complete. The onboarding process has been amazing. Julia says, update, I just accepted the job. Michelle says, I accepted a job offer today. My new job is 2 minutes from my house. Terry says, I got a full-time job with benefits doing something I love. I start on Monday. Now, this is just a few of the testimonials and the few of the responses that we get on a daily basis. I have more of these success stories to share with you guys in addition to the 6 resume hacks that we're going to cover. But I just want to give you a quick introduction. This is what's happening to people that are attending these live streams, that are in my community, that are interacting with me and my team on a regular basis. So it is possible. Now, tell me in the chat, I want to know one thing that you struggle with the most when it comes to writing a good resume. So I'm not just saying a resume. What do you struggle with when it comes to writing a good resume? So share that in the chat with me. And while you're typing that in, I want to share a little bit about me so you guys know who the heck I am if you've never been to my channel before, or this is the first time that you're here. Career strategy is my passion. I'm a career strategy expert. I've actually been a university professor for 15 years, most recently turned into an entrepreneur. My number one goal is to help you find your dream job so that you can grow in a field you love. So I've worked with thousands of job seekers all across the globe, I'm sure on every continent here. And my number one goal is to help you learn strategies that will help you find that position a lot faster and without some of the headache involved with the job search. So you probably know me from YouTube, okay? So if you go to YouTube and you type in how to write a resume, this is where most people find me. You're gonna see a lot of my videos will pop up in like the top search results there. You can take your pick. A lot of them teach the same things, but then I kind of have a little turn on some of them. So you type how to write a resume, you'll see a bunch of my videos there. I also include templates for you guys and all that good stuff over on my channel. So again, that's probably where you know me. Now, before I jump into the first resume hack, I want to see kind of where you guys are falling in terms of what your biggest struggle is. April mentioned an objective statement. Mike, hello, Mike. So happy you're here. Mentioned format. We have, let's see, Pro-Kate. Is it Pro-Katie or Pro-Kate? Says powerful professional summary. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. Transferable skills from Donna. Hello, Donna. So happy you're here. Teresa says the summary or objective statement. Yeah, it looks like a lot of you guys are talking about the summary. Someone mentioned action verbs. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. Writing a good professional summary. Oh, isn't the summary like just one of the trickiest things? Yeah, and I feel like once you get the summary right, the rest it can fall a little bit more easily. So we'll talk a little bit about that today. But let me jump into the first hack. Now, let me tell you guys, the hacks that I'm going to share with you today, or the tips, the steps, whatever you want to call them, these are based on research that's being done right now in the job market to find out what hiring managers and recruiters and employers are really looking for in a candidate or in a really good resume, and what maybe some of the job seekers are missing. So what are they missing, or what are they just not including on their resume? So the very first hack, and I'm hoping if you guys have been to a live stream of mine that you already have this one nailed down. The very first hack is to include a custom LinkedIn URL at the top of your resume. So if you do not have this yet on your resume, you need to get it in as quickly as possible. Now, I'm going to do some reviews in just a second, and we'll see if these people have LinkedIn URLs on the top of their resume. But let me just show you a quick example of what this looks like. So this is just the top part of a resume. This actually is the summary. So I know a lot of you talked about the summary is confusing to you, but the top part of the resume, notice on the right-hand side, I have Sally Smith and her LinkedIn URL. Okay, that's really a person. Don't go look her up, but that's just an example that I use. So here's the thing. Studies have shown that when an applicant includes their LinkedIn URL on their resume, they actually increase their chances of landing an interview. Okay, now I want to share a caveat to that. If your LinkedIn profile is not optimized, sharing your LinkedIn URL actually goes against you. Okay, so you have to make sure that you optimize that LinkedIn profile before you include it on your resume. But you do increase your chances of landing an interview if it's on there. Okay, now I want to show you really quickly like an example of what a non-customized, so not customized LinkedIn URL looks like. When you create your LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn assigns you numbers and letters to your name. Like they don't even give you the option to customize just yet. You do have to go in after the profile is created and you do have to customize that LinkedIn URL. So notice if I'm Sally Smith and I pop Sally Smith -25670-899 on my resume, that's not super awesome, okay? However, if I were just to say Sally-Smith, that looks a lot better. And now that becomes sort of your personal branded website, whatever you want to call it. If you don't have a website, it becomes kind of like your web page to show everyone who you are, okay? And some of the things that you offer and what you can help people with. So you need to make sure you customize that LinkedIn URL. Now, I do want to also show you kind of when it comes to what I mentioned earlier, you need to have an optimized profile. I want to show you a quick example of just some of the things that you need to have optimized in your profile. So you're always going to have your profile photo, you're going to have your headline, and you're also going to have a really well written about section. Now, here's the thing. Last week, I published a new video and it's like a 30-minute training. It's pretty intense. I've never posted like a published video that long before. But I started creating it and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to teach them how to do this. And then I need to teach them this. And it just kind of got longer. And that video is out there. I'm going to have Tori pop the link to that video in the chat for you guys. I will also include it in the description. If you're watching this on the replay, I'll include it down in the description of the video down below. This training that I released, it's so action-packed. It's just brand new, updated for this year. Make sure you watch that when you're done with this here today, because it's going to walk you through the exact things on your profile that you have to optimize. And that's a free training. That's here on YouTube. Tori will give you the link in the chat. So again, it walks you through all these things. Now, there was one more thing I wanted to mention. What was it? What I was going to say is inside that training, I actually walk you through how to customize your URL. So if you're like, Heather, how the heck do I even make a custom URL? I walk you through exactly how to do that. So make sure you take a look at that training when you're done here today, because it's super action-packed and you won't want to miss that. Okay, next step. Well, and really quickly, before I jump into the next step, because I want to hear from you guys, how do you feel about your profile? So tell me on your LinkedIn profile. Now we're talking about resumes, but they all kind of intertwine, okay? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your profile? So I ask this question a lot during my live streams. I'm just curious, for those that are here today, how would you rate your LinkedIn profile? And you might have seen the video that I put out last week, and maybe you already have, you've already optimized. So hopefully you're up there like 7, 8, 9, 10, I hope. If not, let me know, how would you rate your LinkedIn profile? Pop that into the chat. And while you're popping that in, let's go to hack number 2, and this is to incorporate keywords and phrases from the job posting, okay? So this is really going to help you tailor your resume for the position that you're applying for. But I do also want to share another caveat to this, is you don't want to keyword stuff, okay? So studies are showing that if you keyword stuff, this is not going to improve your chances of getting an interview, okay? Rather than keyword stuffing, and I'm going to show you a little trick in just a second, you want to just tailor your resume to every position you apply for. So let me see where you guys are rating your profiles. 3, oh, too bad. That's okay. Go watch that training as soon as you're done with this. And I would also recommend have your profile up when you're watching it, and you might have to pause the video, make the changes, play the video. Okay. It's that type of a training. Let's see. I've seen a lot of 3s. Stacy says pretty good. Awesome. Stacy. David says 6. Wanda says 8. Christine says 7. Good. Not bad. Not bad. Awesome. You guys are doing awesome. Love the comments, love the questions. Keep them coming. Okay, let me show you a quick job description if I'm looking at keywords and keyword phrases. Basically, all I'm going to be doing is I'm going to narrow in on all those keywords and keyword phrases, okay? I'm going to take what's popping out the most, what are some things in that job posting that I'm like, oh yeah, that's me to a T. Or what are maybe some things that they're listed in the job posting that you don't have on your resume and you're like, oh darn, I got to get that on my resume. that's what these job postings are for, so that you can kind of see what else am I missing. Now, I'm going to share a simple trick with you guys, and Tori's going to share another link with you in the chat, and we'll also place it in the description down below. I want you to use Jobscan to help you do this, okay? So Jobscan is one of my favorite tools for job seekers, just to pop your resume in and to scan your resume against the job posting. Now, let me know. Type a yes in the chat if you've ever used Jobscan before. Type no if you haven't ever used Jobscan. And if you haven't yet commented, I want to see you commenting. So give me a yes or a no if you've ever used Jobscan before. So what you're going to do is you'll go to Jobscan. I think it's jobscan.co. Tori will pop the link for you in the chat. You're going to scroll to the very bottom, not the very bottom, but you'll notice there's a little section that says you can upload your resume or you can copy and paste your resume. I like to upload I like to copy and paste. It's easier, and I don't have to, fuss with the upload. But I like to copy and paste the resume in. Then I like to copy and paste the job description in. What's going to happen, I'm going to show you the key sections really quickly that you need to focus on when it comes to reviewing the Jobscan data. Now, when you go here, and by the way, this video is not sponsored by Jobscan. I definitely need to reach out to them to sponsor a video because I talk about them so often. But Jobscan is going to give you a match rate on your resume. I want you to take this with a grain of salt, okay? A lot of job seekers are like, I got to get to that 80% that Jobscan's telling me I need to get to. You really don't need to. I want you to use this tool more as research purposes, okay? It's really to help you find out, is there lingo in my resume that's not matching up to the lingo in the job posting? And then it just tells you what words are you missing and what can you change in your resume to match that posting? So let me see where you guys are. I'm seeing a lot of no's on the Jobscan. I am seeing some yeses. Let's see. Jose says no. Joanna says no. Doctor says tailoring your application to the job. Yes. MB says never heard of it. Okay, you guys definitely need to go check this tool out today, okay? Okay, so that's the match right now. Once you get your resume in, you're going to scan it, all that good stuff. You're going to scroll down this page just a little bit and you're going to notice ATS findings, okay? So ATS is the applicant tracking system that we all talk about, okay? This is going to tell you how many skills are you missing that are not showing up on your resume, but that are in the job posting. So I want you to examine this. In this example, for example, it says you are missing 2 important high-value skills on your resume. So this is saying that, for example, customer experience appears on the job description 3 times, but it's nowhere to be found on your resume. So now what you need to do is you need to go into your resume and you need to type customer experience somewhere. Now you might have it as customer service, customer management, client management, whatever. You need to change up some of that lingo on your resume so that it matches. Next thing I want you to focus on is recruiter findings. So then as you scroll down, it's going to give you your recruiter findings. Now, here's one of the things that we are looking at, and I'm going to show you in just a second a screenshot of the length of your resume. I want you to focus on the word count. Now, you could go into any word processor that you use to type your resume, and you can look at the word count. So the word count of your resume, this is saying it's too long, okay? I'm going to share with you exactly in just a second the word count that you need to have your resume at in order to increase your chances of landing an interview, okay? We'll talk more about that in a second, but I want you to look at that section too when you get your resume in. And by the way, I'm showing you guys the free version of Jobscan, okay? They do have a paid version, and you can use that paid version, and I have a lot of clients and students that do that because they're scanning their resume multiple times and against multiple positions. That's okay, and it gives you a little bit more data, but I'm just showing you the free version, okay? This is what you can get with the free version. Now, the other thing I want you to look at is your hard skills, but I also want you to scroll down the page and look at your soft skills, okay? So it's going to show you hard and soft. Now, you've heard me talk about this before, and we'll talk more about it as we move through this training. Is your hard skills are like the things you've learned in school, the things you've learned in as work experience, the things you've just learned, like the trades that you've learned. Your soft skills are like kind of the things that make up your personality, your behavioral characteristics, your traits, your personality, all that good stuff, okay? What we are finding is we want to see more resumes that have more soft skills, okay? Because we're finding a lack of, when we bring candidates into the job force, we're like, wait a second, you told us that you were really good at X, Y, and Z, but then you're not a great team player. Your communication skills are lousy. Your personality is not jiving with everyone else on the team. So we want to see more of those soft skills, and I'll talk more about that in a second. So use Jobscan to basically see how your resume is matching up. Now let's jump into hack number 3, and I have another question for you guys in just a second, which is what I'm talking about, is don't overlook your soft skills. So we're finding that so many people are so honed in on the hard skills, and the reason why is because hard skills are so easy to quantify. It's so easy to put numbers behind those hard skills. It's not as easy to put numbers behind the soft skills. So I want to show you a quick example of hard skills versus soft skills. So your hard skills, again, are those things that are teachable. That could be anything like accounting, copywriting, computer programming, engineering, whatever, you name it, it could be a hard skill. Soft skills, again, are your behaviors, communication, leadership, teamwork, time management, patience. We want to see more soft skills on your resume. So I can't emphasize that enough. We want to see a little bit more soft skills on your resume. Now, I want to know in the chat, what soft skill can you add to your resume? So think about some of the soft skills that you have. Which one can you add to your resume? And as you're typing that in, I want you to think about, how can you now bring that into like a sentence that you share on your resume? Okay, I want to know a sentence that you can share on your resume with your soft skills. Now let's jump into, while you're typing that in, hack number 4, and that is to quantify your achievements. Okay, so every employer, or most employers, are always looking for more metrics on a resume. Okay, they want to know what type of value you can add to the workplace. Okay, this is super key. So let's look at quantifiable achievements really quick, or how we actually do that. I want you to think in terms of measurement, okay? So anything that you can measure, and here's just a few examples of things you can measure. Data, frequency, you can measure the scale, you can measure the range, numbers, percentages, dollar amounts, and even time. And this is just a little tiny list of what you can measure, but I wanted to share this with you so you had that kind of available for you, so you can start thinking about, well, what do I want to measure? Okay, and I'll show you a really good example here in just a second. Let me see what some of your soft skills are. Leadership, awesome. Creativity, teamwork, patience. That's one of my favorites, Regina. Fidel says communication. Professor, I'm sure, I think it's Professor Katie. Strategic vision, organizational learning, love it. Those are so good. Resilience, resilient. Sorry, the chat just moved. Anka, hello. So happy you're here. Active listening. Oh my goodness. I'm going to do a training about this soon, about those skills that employers are really looking for, and active listening is one of them, or just listening. Problem solving, awesome, so good. Okay, so let me give you a quick formula that you can use if you haven't yet seen this already, to kind of bring your bullet points together, your statements together on your resume. It's just a simple formula where I want to know the action verb. So I want to know what that action verb was that you did. I want to know what the task was. And I also want to know what the result is. Okay. So I get a lot of times where people will just give me their action verb and their task, but they don't ever tell me like what the result was from that. Okay. So that's one of the things we want to make sure we get in, is the result. So let me show you a quick example. Now this is not a good example, but I want to show you. It might sound good. Hired and managed a team to successfully implement a new database solution. Okay. Well, in this example, you are giving me an action verb, and you are giving me the task, and you are giving me the result. But what I'm missing here is like data or measurements. So let me show you really quickly how you could write this better. You could say hired and managed a team of 8 product developers to successfully implement a new database solution ahead of schedule. So now you can see how much more juicy this statement is on a resume, where I'm now giving you numbers and I'm giving you data. And I could even say, instead of ahead of schedule, I could say 2 months ahead of schedule, 2 weeks ahead of schedule, 7 days ahead of schedule, whatever that is. The more data, the more numbers, the more quantifiable achievements that you can add to your resume, the better. Okay. Now let me know in the chat, what have you learned so far today? Like, what's your biggest takeaway? I still have 2 hacks to share with you. What's your biggest takeaway? Plus, we haven't even gotten into resume reviews. What's your biggest takeaway so far from just these first 4 hacks that I've shared with you? Type that into the chat. Then let's jump into hack number 5. Oh, this is a question I get every day. Pay attention to your resume length. Okay, so the length of your resume is extremely important when it comes to job searching. So I'm going to share a couple examples with you. If you have less than 5 years of work experience, 5 years, you want to use a 1-page resume. Okay. If you have more than 5 years of work experience, you want to use a 2-page resume. Now, there is another caveat to this. Okay, I know I'm giving you a lot of tips, but I'm also giving you a lot of subjective things to think about, because not every resume is the same. Every resume is tailored to you and what it is that you have done in your history and the position you're applying for. Okay, here's the thing that we're looking at these days is TalentWorks just put out a survey, and they said that long resumes, so 600 plus words, are 43% less hireable. So 43% less hireable if you have a long resume. Now, there is the exception to the rule, and that is if you are in academia or if you are in some sort of federal government type position. Okay, there's other exceptions to that rule, and you'll know if you're in one of those fields. You'll know, hey, I'm going to have a longer resume. It might be a 2. I work with people in academia all the time, and we're looking at like 8 to 8-page resumes sometimes, and like 5-page cover letters. Like they've got to talk about everything they've done. But in the world of like a professional, you're just, you're going to work in the corporate world. You don't want to go over 600 words in your resume. Now, all the templates that I offer, so I have a free resume template. We also have templates in the toolkit, which I'm going to talk to you about in just a second, fall within a certain range. So I want to give you that range. It is on the screen. 475 to 600 words is the ideal resume length. So you can do that word count, and it will tell you how many words are in your resume and how many words, like, do I need to eliminate something? Do I need to add something? Keep in mind too, if you're going on a 1-page or a 2-page resume, that's going to affect the difference. Okay. And I can share the link with you guys on this TalentWorks survey. Tori, I don't think I gave that to you. Let me pop this one into the chat. This is the link to the TalentWorks survey. It's just the source that I used to get this chart. Okay, let's jump into hack number 6. And I want to see really quickly where you guys are in the chat. Questions are coming in. Make sure you put like a question mark or the word question in front of them, your question, so that Tori can get those in. And I will make sure that I answer those. I'll get to as many as I can today before this live stream ends. Okay, let's go to hack number 6. So avoid buzzwords and cliches. Okay, so I don't know if this is something I've ever really talked about on my channel during any of my live streams, but this kind of goes along with keyword stuffing. We don't want to keyword stuff, okay? We want to make sure that anything we put on the resume is definitely something that we've done, of course, and we don't want to like pack it full of like these words that hiring managers and recruiters are like seeing all day long, and they're like, oh, another word or another phrase that sounds just the same. So I want to share with you really quickly. This is according to LinkedIn. The 10 most overused words on a resume. So if you can find a different word other than motivated, creative, enthusiastic, track record, so on and so forth, I would highly recommend using that. However, there are times where it's okay to, I don't want you to be like, I'm going to search my resume for every time I use the word driven or every time I use the word leadership, and I'm going to switch it. I don't want you to do that. Let's just, if you've used it once, let's try and maybe not use it again like the second or third time. Okay. Like try and find a different way to phrase. Now, extensive experience is one of those things I like to recommend to my, like anyone that is a seasoned professional, because you don't want to say all the time 20 years or 30 years of work experience, because then that can date you and that leads to ageism and all that good stuff. Not good stuff, but it leads to all that. And so if we have extensive experience instead, sometimes that can solve that problem. So there are ways to use these words. We just don't want to overuse them. Okay. But just keep that in mind. Now, I want to ask you guys one thing. I want to know one thing that you can do to improve your resume. Now, I know I just asked you about your biggest takeaway, but all these 6 things that I've shared with you, what's one thing that you can do to improve your resume? And we will be jumping into resume reviews in just a second, and I think you're going to learn a lot from that. But I want to ask you, you're probably here today because you're discouraged by the lack of attention your resume is getting. You might have a hard time pinpointing your strengths, highlighting your accomplishments. I know that's a lot of the feedback we've gotten in the last couple of days is people are just like, I don't know how to organize my bullet points. How do I organize my skills? What do I put first? What do I put last? Maybe you've always landed jobs through word of mouth, and now you're at that point where you need your resume to do the heavy lifting for you. Or maybe you've been laid off or you're furloughed because of what's happening right now, and you're wondering, what are my next steps? Now, everything that I've shared with you guys today, there's no like special secret sauce. Even though sometimes I call my strategies the secret sauce because I think they are, but there's no like expensive resources or magic or tools behind all of this. It's just a strategy that works for my students and my clients. I want to share with you guys what happened with Faith. So Faith landed a remote customer service position. She says, I wanted to share some great news. I got a remote customer service position. I can't thank you enough, Professor Heather Austin. I also want to share with you what happened with Manuel. He got a job offer and negotiated his salary. He says, I got a job offer and negotiated salary. I'm ready to start training soon. Thanks to you, Heather Austin. Here's what happened with Peggy. She landed a great job and she's enjoying it. She says, after many months of search and disappointment, I landed in a great job. I recently joined them and I'm thoroughly enjoying working for this company. And here's what I love about what she said. There is definitely light at the end of the tunnel, so never give up. She says, your awesome time is right around the corner. Now, I want to invite you guys to join me inside of the Career Advancement Toolkit. So the Career Advancement Toolkit is an exclusive suite of resources. If you have not heard about this, it's a one-of-a-kind resource. Templates, guides, instructions, examples, and video lessons to help you secure your next job offer. It's your time to apply an interview with confidence. Now, I want to share some more success stories with you. Colleen moved through the interview process successfully using the toolkit. She says, in fact, Colleen, I think you might be here. She says, I just had a phone interview yesterday that was confirmed to move to the in-person interview next week. Your advice has been awesome, especially the career toolkit. I have been passing your name and videos to everyone I know. Thanks, by the way, Colleen, if you're here. Candace landed a job during the ongoing pandemic. She says, I got a job thanks to your videos and templates. They were extremely helpful. I truly think they helped me land a job during the ongoing pandemic. And is this thing ever going to end? The pandemic, that is. Ed received a job offer from a great company. He says, yesterday I received a job offer from a great company. The moral of the story, and again, this is my favorite part of what he said, is that when you least expect something happens. So if you read the other part of his message, he says that he says, 2 days ago, I posted that I was taking a couple of days off. He was just done. He was feeling discouraged, exhausted, because he'd been searching for 4 months. And then he received the job offer. And that's where he says, when you least expected, something happens. Here's what happened to Nicole. She scored her dream job after fixing her resume, which hopefully you guys will be able to take away some valuable tips today to fix your resume today. She says, I just wanted to let you know that your help that with your help, I scored my dream job. I did not hear back from any jobs before I fixed my resume based off of your advice. If anyone's wondering if this actually works, take the time and fix your resume. It will work. Now, let me share with you guys really quickly what's inside the toolkit. Dozens of done-for-you templates, bonus video lessons, my perfect cover letter how-to guide, my LinkedIn profile essential starter pack, and my ultimate guide to surviving your job search. Now, all of these things go hand in hand when it comes to finding and landing more interviews and better job offers. Now, I have a limited time bonus I want to share with you guys. We have never done this before. This is brand new to anyone that's here. A bonus job interview confidence training. So my team has this video ready and uploaded to our learning platform, ready for whoever is joining. But I want to tell you, this is a limited time bonus. We are only going to have this bonus available for the next 48 hours. Okay. So if you've thought about joining or grabbing the toolkit, now is the time to do it because you have access to the job interview confidence training, but only for 48 hours. So make sure you get in and take advantage of that. Now, let me share with you what's inside the bonus interview training. We talk about how to manage nerves and anxiety before and during an interview. We talk about how to answer the top 5 most common interview questions. We talk about a simple method for answering difficult behavioral-based questions. And then one of my favorite parts, questions to ask your interviewer to show that you are the best fit for the position. So this is actually a jam-packed extra bonus training. We've never offered this before, but it is available for anyone that joins the toolkit within the next 48 hours. And you guys have probably seen this before, the fast action bonus. So again, the first 20 people to grab the Career Advancement Toolkit actually receive a fast action bonus. It's a cover letter workshop, 5 bonus video lessons where you'll learn how to use your cover letter as a mini sales presentation, okay? Now, if you guys were wondering, hey, what's the value of all this stuff in this toolkit? The total value of the templates, the trainings, the guides, the resources, and the toolkit is worth more than $500, but your investment is just $67 today. So for our very special flash sale, and I'll give you guys the timeline to this flash sale in just a second, you can save $100 on the toolkit. So don't miss out. If you start now, you'll save $100 off the full price. The flash sale expires Monday, March 22nd. So you have until Monday to grab the toolkit for this very special flash sale. Remember, the first 20 people to enroll get the cover letter workshop, and if you grab the toolkit within the 48-hour limited time frame, you'll have access to the bonus interview course. And all you need to do is go to professoraustin.com/live offer. Tori will also have that link for you in the chat, and we'll place that link for you down below in the description if you are listening to this on a replay. Now, before we jump into resume reviews, I have a few more success stories to share with you. I want to share with you what happened with Darcy because she received 2 job offers. She says, "Thank you, Professor Austin and team. I have just received 2 job offers after using your process to update my job search a year later and now back to work. Thank you for your support and your help over the past year." Myra landed a new job and continues to get traction. So here's what's the cool thing about her. She says, "Thanks to Professor Austin, her toolkit, I've had so much more traction in my job search. Not too many days ago, I accepted a new role." But here's what she was contemplating. She says, "However, I found a voicemail left by another recruiter from a different company. It was her first choice company who said they would love to talk more about the role, which I consider my dream job." So how amazing is that? That's the situation I want to see you in. And here's what happened with Amy. She actually switched careers and landed a new job. She says, officially got the job offer. Officially got the job. I got the offer last week. She says, "I'm doing a career change. I'm now a project manager, and the company has some amazing benefits." So there's opportunities open all over there, and I want you guys to have the tools and the resources to land those opportunities. Let me share with you guys what happened with Charlotte. She says, "I was gobsmacked how much of a difference the toolkit made." She says, "Take the time to work through Heather's videos online and buy her career advancement toolkit. My job search is going so much more effectively now that I worked through my resume, my LinkedIn profile, and now written a cover letter." She says, "I'm gobsmacked how much of a difference it makes." And she goes on to say, "I am not sponsored by her," and she's not. I don't pay anyone or have anyone sponsor my stuff. She says, I absolutely promise. And then here's a message that I got from her recently. She says, I managed to get a full-time permanent job I love. Within a few months, Heather's coaching was a complete game changer for me. And a few more stories, you guys. I just love sharing all the success of my clients and my students. So Tania, actually, she says, I'm finally employed again in an industry I love and know well. She says, after being put on a temp leave and subsequently terminated July 2020 due to COVID. She says, below is a summary of having used your tips and templates from the Career Advancement Toolkit. Here's the cool thing that happened to her. She applied to 9 positions, landed 6 interviews, and received 3 job offers. And of those 6 interviews, they all led to second interviews. How amazing is that? Now, again, really quick reminder, dozens of templates, bonus video lessons, my cover letter how-to guide, my LinkedIn profile essential starter pack, my ultimate guide to surviving your job search. We can't forget about the limited time bonus training, job interview confidence. If you enroll within the next 48 hours, you'll have access to that right away. And then the fast action bonus, which this will be gone before our live stream ends today. The first 20 people to grab the toolkit will receive a free cover letter workshop, 5 bonus video lessons where you'll learn how to turn your cover letter into a mini sales presentation. Again, your investment is just $67. That's a one-time. We're not doing any monthly fees or subscriptions or anything, a one-time payment for that. And here's the cool thing. You actually get access to any of the templates that I add over time. So I've been collecting a lot of new templates from my clients that I work with on a daily basis, and I'm putting them into the toolkit. So anything like that, you have access to forever. Here's what happened to Abraham really quick. He says, following your advice, I landed my dream job today. With my limited experience in the field, I was able to prepare the most amazing CV and cover letter. He says that he got half a dozen calls from different companies the past few weeks, and each hiring manager complimented him on the attention to detail on his CV and his cover letter, and they wanted to meet. So amazing things are happening. Let's see, who else do we have here? Oh, Erica. Erica accepted a remote position as a technical writer. So she says, I'm thrilled to let you know I've been offered and accepted a remote position. And this is during the pandemic too. She says, today I received a package. How awesome is this? With all the equipment necessary to handle the job. And here's what I said, what I love about what she says. I'm so thrilled. She says, do not be afraid to tell your concern about your fears of pay. So originally this position had kind of lowballed her offer, but she went back and she negotiated. How amazing is that? And then finally, I can't leave without sharing with you guys, Terry, who is a power engineer. He says, your guidance helped me polish up my LinkedIn, rev up my resume, helped me ace the interview to get a fabulous job offer for a position that I believe I will really enjoy. And he says, I am a 57-year-old fossil who is 10 years out of the job search market. I couldn't have done it without you. So again, if you guys want to see success like this, ProfessorAustin.com/live offer. We have a special flash sale running on the Career Advancement Toolkit. It's not going to be there forever, so you have until Monday to grab that offer. The first 20 people in get a bonus cover letter workshop training, and then if you sign up within the next 48 hours, you get a job interview confidence training. So let's jump into reviews and let's jump into questions. I know that was a lot to digest and a lot to cover. You can always watch this replay. This is going to be available for you on a replay if you need to. And by the way, I will be sending out a link to everyone on my list with this replay link. So if you need to grab that replay, you can. Now, I want to know really quickly, based on this, I want to kind of see where you guys are with what you, let me see. Awesome. Angel says, I have it as well. It's genuinely a wealth of knowledge. Awesome. So good. I love seeing all you guys. I want to know in the chat though, really quickly. So based on kind of like the information that I've shared, the tips that I've shared with you, I want to know, like, how would you rate your resume on a scale of 1 to 10? So I have a ton of people in here that have grabbed the toolkit already, that are using the resources. I have a ton of people in here that probably have never seen me before. This is your first time meeting me. How would you rate your resume on a scale of 1 to 10? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your resume? I'm going to pull up, and while you guys are typing that in, I'm going to pull up the resume resumes that I have to review for you today. So let me get these up here. We're going to start with this very first resume. And what I've done is I have permission from all these people to share their resumes. But what I've done is I have X'd out their name and some like sensitive data just in case, because I don't want their data to be compromised here. But this is going to be, and I'm not going to say names, but I'm going to say this is our first resume number 1. And by the way, I want to thank everyone who actually submitted their resume for this review show, because we had hundreds, and it's hard to just pick a few to go through, and we tried our hardest to like just narrow down on the ones that we thought could kind of help everyone and give anyone a chance that might have a similar resume to like make some changes. So we'll continue to do these resume review shows in the future, but I just want to thank everyone who submitted, and we had the hardest time choosing. So let's go through this first resume. So first of all, and I think if I remember right, this one, I want to say this one is international. So I'm located in the United States. I want to say this one is Germany, but I could be wrong. And I want to make a quick tip on that. Depending on the country that you live in, you will need to make changes. Like you're basically tailoring your resume to that country or where you are. So I work with people in all over the world, and some people, their resume needs to have a headshot of them on their resume. In the United States, we don't do that. But just so you know, I want you to be aware of like resume trends for your country as well. Okay, so first of all, what I liked here, I actually like the different colors. I know I'm not big on adding colors, but I do like that there's like separating sections, which is really nice because I could see, okay, there's my summary, there's key strengths, there's my professional experience. I really liked that. I also really like on this resume that there's a lot of words that are bold, and that kind of like sticks out to me. So if I'm reading your resume really quickly, I can see, okay, you want a position as a content lead. I get that, and that's great. And then I can see your summary, I can see your key strengths, I can see your professional experience. So there's a lot of really good things that you're doing well on this resume. The one thing that I would like, and I know that you're kind of centering everything down the middle. And let me just mention this really quickly, you guys, because this individual, I'm not sure if you can see this, but notice at the very bottom here, it says created with Visual CV. So when we're looking at resumes, this isn't like a terrible thing, okay? Don't get super discouraged if this is what you're doing. However, if you're using any sort of resume builder, it makes it so much harder to customize. So when I give you advice on what you should do differently, you have to follow that resume builder. So you can't just like left align things really easily or like add more context. Like you can, but it's a little bit more difficult than just using a Word document or a Google Doc, which is what I recommend doing. I don't recommend doing the resume builders because it's harder to tailor and rather than just having a Word document up. So be very careful of that. One of the things that I was going to mention, and this isn't a deal breaker, is I was going to mention potentially left aligning everything. Now I know you have summary and key strengths and that kind of stuff. That's probably in the template. And I think those are okay to be centered. That's not going to make or break the deal for you. But just keep that in mind. I like to see everything more left aligned. Now on your summary, I also like to see like professional summary or professional profile or career profile or something rather than just summary. Like I want to see that this is like something related to your profession, your profession or your career, which we know it is, but let's just make it that a little bit more specific. I don't think key strengths is bad. That reminds me of like a core competency section. But what I do want to pinpoint here is notice all this white space, this really nice white space at the top here in between the key strengths. That's kind of to me like wasted space. Like I would almost love to see like some bullet points here of your career highlights, rather than just the key strengths, which these are not bad. But again, I want to get really specific with using that space. So that's just one thing to consider. The other thing on this template or this resume as well is that notice that the date is off to the left, and I'm also missing all that really good white space down below the dates. I would love to see everything pulled over so that you can now use that space a little bit better. Okay, so that I'm not seeing all this white space and white space is good, but I want to see I want to just be able to go bang, bang, bang and see everything without having it broken up by white space. The other thing I wanted to mention here, I know I got to get my glasses on. That's why I'm having a hard time seeing these. The other thing I wanted to mention here, oh, much better. Let me just look at your summary really quick. Skilled communicator who thrives in strategic writer. Okay, I like these keywords. I'm almost wondering if there's too much bold going on here, but I do normally if you don't have a headline, I'll normally recommend bolding the first keyword in the first sentence. I don't think that's bad though. I don't really want to focus on that because I think we can give you more details down here. I don't know if I would keep the word self-employed on here. I don't know if they need to know that. Is there a name of the company? I would love to know that. I don't know if I would necessarily mention that, unless you find that that's an indication that you need to have that on your resume. Also, make sure, notice there's some spaces here between these bullet points. Make sure you close those gaps here, okay? And that you don't have, let me see, can I do a markup? Well, I'm not going to try and do that because that's going to take me too long to figure out. But close up these gaps here between these bullet points. That's what I'd recommend there. And then, of course, I know that you're still looks like you're still kind of filling this in. You have company name here. Make sure you get all that in before you submit it. And again, I would love to see you kind of pull everything over in this space. Hang on, guys. I'm going to see if I can do this commenting thing, if it will let me. Let's see, I think it will. Yes, I want the draw tool. That's what I want. So let's see, did I get the draw tool? No, I didn't get it. I'll just do the highlight tool. So for example, this space right here, I want to pull all these bullet points over. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's keep going here. Okay, the other thing I wanted to mention here is notice how you've got one position is onto that second page, okay? We want to bring everything up to that top. So we never want to have one position where half of it's written on this first page and half of it's on the second page. They need to come together. So whatever you need to do to bring up those bullet points, I would. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention here too is notice you're using the word I. So we don't, when we write a resume, we're not speaking in first person. Resume writing is a very special lingo. It's almost like another language where hiring managers and recruiters and employers that are looking at resumes all day long, they get it, they understand it. But we're never going to put I or my or me or she or he or that kind of stuff in a resume. Now, when you're doing your LinkedIn profile, you can speak first person all day long, but just not on your resume. So again, for example, you said, I helped young entrepreneurs to connect with partners, stakeholders, and the Bond startup community. I would just say, rather than using the word helped, and you could use helped, but you could have a little bit more descriptive word, helped young entrepreneurs to connect with partners, stakeholders, and the Bond startup community. You could do that. The other thing I would love to see you do, though, is what was the result of you helping them? Okay, so you told me your action verb, and you told me your the task, but I need to know what is the result of that? Tell me a little bit more about the result of this task, okay, or of that statement there. Let me just see if there's anything really quickly down here I can point out. Again, review each of your bullet points to make sure that they are the action verb task result formula. And not every bullet point's going to be like that. Like, for example, I think this one's okay. Conducted internal audits for the ISO 9000 certification. That's probably okay there. But again, review each of them to make sure that you can get those juicy bullet points in there. Okay, this is the part that I was this bottom part of the resume, I was a little bit underwhelmed with, only because I want to see a little bit more. Like there was a lot of white space here for me. And if I scroll down, you'll notice, you guys can't see this, but the page is like, we haven't filled the entire page. So if you're not filling the entire second page, I want you to consider just going to a one-page resume. If you can fill that second page, let's make it really impactful. Like, I want to see some more, maybe like volunteer experience if you have it. I would love to see a little bit more description on soft skills, which, by the way, I love that you have that in here. I would also love to see maybe a section of technical skills. So let me show you, I want to show you guys an example before I get into the next resume so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. This is the resume inside of the Career Advancement Toolkit. So again, this resume I think falls within that 600 word limit. We could probably remove a couple of words. But notice what I've done here is I am centering the headline and I am centering these 3 key skills for this person. But notice that my summary is left aligned and I have my bullet points of career highlights. Okay. I like having that. So I would almost recommend for resume 1 that you get those bullet points in there. You do have a skills section, which reminds me again of the core competencies. Core competencies is a great section if you want to kind of combat some of the applicant tracking system terms that they're going to be looking for. You can quickly pop those into here. It's not a required section. But notice now what I'm doing is I'm giving a nice, good, solid sentence about what's inside or what that position entails. And then I'm giving some really good, solid bullet points about that position. And then I start the next position on the second page. But for resume 1, this is what I wanted you to see. And you can't really see all the way to the bottom. But notice how I'm filling in that space with technical skills. And then let me see if I can... Oh, it's not letting me pull it up all the way. That's too bad. But at the bottom, it's a professional and volunteer involvement section. And that, let me see if that will let me show you. There we go. You can kind of see the top of it. That's kind of filling in the space a little bit more. So what I would say is think of some things that you can do here that kind of fill that in a little bit more and give me just a little bit more depth to the resume, if that makes sense. But overall, good job. I think this is fine. I think, there's just a few little key things that you could do. Now, here's the thing. If you're getting interviews with this resume and it's working for you, consider just a few of these changes. But I do highly recommend just a Word or a Google Doc resume and then tailoring it from there. Okay, let's jump let me get to resume 2. Okay. So here's resume 2. Love that everything is left aligned. Super easy to read. I could see your name, your contact information at the top. Fantastic. This is one thing that resume 2 is falling into the trap of, is speaking in first person. So we don't want to say I help, okay? We want to take out all the words where we have I, me, my, me, whatever, he, she. We want to remove all of that from the resume. And now we need to now get into that resume lingo, okay? So in your summary here, let's see, you have I help customers, teams, and companies resolve problems they are struggling with so they can achieve the success and growth they desire. I would love to know here, how do you help them? So you say that you help customers, teams, and companies resolve, which is awesome, but how do you do that? Is that through your amazing communication skills? Is that through, your tasks or background, a history, whatever things you've learned? Like, how do you do that? That's what I want to see in that first sentence. And then I want to see the I removed. Let's see, resolving problems, training, and helping others to learn and grow is what drives me. Again, let's get rid of the word me. Okay, so try and figure out a way to review that and just take out all those my's, me's, and I's. Here's the other thing too, you might want to look at. So let me just show you guys the sample from the toolkit. This is just one of the samples. Reliable, energetic, and resourceful sales, marketing, and consulting professional. Okay. So I want to see, like, give me some action words, like at the very beginning, like that are in the job posting. So if I go to this job posting and I'm looking for a vice president of sales position, in that position, they've mentioned they need someone reliable, energetic, and resourceful. I got to get that into that summary so that they know this is me. Like, these are the things that I have that you want. So I would love to see on resume 2, I would love to see some of those action words start your summary, if that makes sense. Okay, skills here. Again, that's going to be more of like your competencies, which is fine. I want to scroll down to see what else we have here. Yeah, you're probably good to stick with a 2-page, which then again, you could add some bullet points here. I would love to see, what are your biggest career highlights? I would love to see those right under, whoops, that's resume 2, right under your summary, and then potentially naming this core competencies rather than skills. In my example, I like to center these. I think you have a really good start here. It tells me that this is like, I'm seeing more of the position you're going for. But I think the other thing too that would help you here is at the top of your resume. So very similar to this example is, what position are you going for? Like, can you tell me more about the title? Can you tell me more about the keywords? Sorry, I'm trying to highlight this thing. Can you tell me more about those 3 key skills that they might be looking for? I would love to see that at the top of your resume. Because when I first see this, I'm like, oh, what position did they want? Like, who is this person? Like, what are they even going for? Okay. So I would love to see that at the top. Okay, experience looks good. Dates look good. What would be awesome here too is for you to describe the position just a little bit, or the company. Like, give me a little bit of data right below this to tell me either more about the company or more about the position, and then let's go into the exact role. In fact, how you have it written here, I want to see more about the company, because it looks like you've worked with that company you've had career growth. So give me a statement right under it where you're telling me, you guys can't see my pointer here where I'm pointing, where you're telling me a little bit more about the company, and then let's jump into the positions. And you could even give me a brief overview of what the technical customer support manager entails. Like, what was that position? And then your bullet points. And you've done really good giving us some good data. So for example, produced a 50% cost savings and increased inventory levels of devices by 30% and skincare products by 20% by developing and supervising. Okay, this is a really good example, you guys, of this person's giving me, they're giving me like their action verb, okay, which is produced. And then they're actually giving me their result. They're telling me the result first, which is awesome. You can switch the two. And then they're saying the task. So I got this result, and the task was by developing and supervising yada, yada, yada. That's perfect. I love to see achievement statements that are written like that. Awesome. Okay. This is another thing here. What I would do, because if we're going to add some of that detail to your resume, I want to see that sales support manager pop down to the second page. Okay. And what you can do on your heading where your name is, I want to see it just along the top. In fact, you don't even need to include all that data. Let me show you really quickly on the professional resume template on the second page. Notice we just have the name, and then we have the phone number. That's what I want to see at the top of your resume. I don't want to see like a big chunk of a name and all that. It's just like, this is like, hey, this page belongs with the first page, but we're not actually adding that same header that's on that first page. Okay, so I would streamline that a little bit. You don't need to have page 2 on there. I would take that off if you guys can see that. And then that's going to, leave some space here, right here. Can you guys see where I'm kind of highlighting? I would eliminate that space. Operations manager, I think that's good. Sales associate, that's good. I think, so what you guys will find as you are more seasoned and you start listing positions that are like 10 or 15 years ago, you can list those on your resume, but how I want you to do it is I want you to list it very similar to what you see here. So I'm going to just list the company name and the position, okay? The company name, the position, and the dates that I was employed. Now, a lot of times you don't need to go back more than 10 or 15 years because, again, I've said this time and time again, hiring officials or employers and recruiters, they want to know, like, what are you doing right now, or what have you done most recently that relates to this position? So again, you don't need to go back that far, and you can list it very similar to what I have here on that template. What I would love to see here too, I'm just noticing this, is I want to see more of a definite, like, this is a heading and this is a heading. Like I'll show you this because this is like one of my favorite examples is everything's capitalized and there's a horizontal line under it to break up the sections. I would love to see something like that on your resume, number 2, like capitalize. And we're finding capitalizations through the ATS. Like if it's an all cap, when it comes through the ATS, it puts it into a sentence case, which is okay, even if you have this all capped, because that's going to appeal to the human reader, right? So I would say to cap that and then to give us like a horizontal line under so that I'm like easily reading from one section to another and that the section titles aren't getting lost, okay, in the other stuff. So yeah, that will make the education stand out. I would say you could even put volunteer and professional development is different. I would say, do you have anything else you can add to volunteer to kind of like beef up that section? Professional development, I think that's great. Give me some bullet points here. So I want to see like some of this in bullet points and then like a little bit more description to each of those. And other than that, I think it's good. Just double check your margins, fix that heading there. Tell us at the very top. So again, tell us at the very top of the resume who you are. Like, what's the ideal position you're going for? I want to see that right at the top. Okay. That's considered like a heading. It's just like telling us where you're going. Okay, awesome. In the chat, you guys, tell me if this is beneficial to you. Like, are you learning from these resumes? Give me a yes in the chat if you are learning from these resumes that I'm sharing with you. So I have a couple more to go through with you. I want to just check really quick. I don't think this one was made, at least it's not showing that it was made with a resume builder, but I'm kind of thinking it was. And again, I'm gonna just say the same thing that I've said to everyone. Those resume builders kind of limit your, even though they make things look fancy, they're a little bit more restricting, okay, for what you can do. Okay, summary, skills, and expertise. I like that. I think that's fine. I would love to see a little bit more in your summary. Like, I want to see, give me some really good action words in here. Give me a little bit more about who you are, who you're helping, how you're helping them. Okay, I want to see just a little bit more in that summary. The other thing I would like to see is the top of this resume, there's a lot of space being taken up by just the name. And resume, you got to think of your resume as such, it's like prime real estate, okay? So whenever we like have big, huge gaps at the top and big, huge spaces at the top, that's a red flag to me that this candidate is not doing everything they can to catch my attention right at the beginning, okay? I want to see exactly at the very top of your resume. I want to hire you and bring you in for an interview based on just what you've told me at the top. Okay. Like I don't even want to have to go look through everything else. I just want to know how amazing you are at the top of your resume. So give me a little, beef up that summary just a little bit. I would love to see you too. Let me just scroll down. Yes, you definitely could have a professional highlight section on your resume. I would love to see that here. Under your summary, you could call it your career highlights, whatever you want to call it. I want to see a section devoted to like your greatest career accomplishments. Like give that to me at the top rather than just your skills and expertise. Because skills and expertise to me, that's like a sub item, okay? Compared to like this is actually something you probably should have like a technical skills and expertise section at the bottom, because there's a lot of things you have in here that are, you need to have that regardless, like Microsoft Office, like you should have that already. Google Suite, you should know that. I don't want to see that taken up at the top of your resume, like wasting that space. Like I need to know some really good, tangible things you've done that are awesome, that are like, for example, let me just pull this out. You have revamped client communications emails, resulting in a 10% increase in open rate and a 20% increase in click-through rate. Okay, so if you are going for a marketing position, I need to know that like right up front, like give that to me in a career highlight bullet point at the top rather than, oh, this person knows Microsoft Office. Great. I'm going to bring them in for an interview. But if I know that you increased the open rate, which I know because I send emails, a 10% increase in the open rate, that's huge. And a 20% increase in the click-through rate, that's huge, okay? I want to see that at the top. Like give that to me in a career highlight. And then if you feel the need to re-emphasize it in the bottom, in the bullet point, do that too. That's totally fine. But reword it. We don't want it to be the same. Let's see. So these must be your certifications. Yep, I want to see these at the bottom, resume number 3, and I want to see a beefier top half section, okay? Sell me on you in the top half. The one thing you've done really good with though is these achievement statements. I really like how you're including data. That's going to be the very first thing that your employer is looking for. Data, you're telling me your value. Now you're telling me the value that you add. Just bring that up to the top. The other thing you could do, so notice here, you have marketing coordinator. Notice here that you're giving the description of the marketing coordinator, but you don't give us a description of the office and marketing manager. I would love to see those parallel. Like I want to see if you're giving me that statement about your marketing coordinator position, I want to see that also under office and marketing manager. And what's going to happen if you add bullet points and you beef up that top section, you could still add a competencies section, and then your office and marketing manager position is going to pop down to page number 2, which would be great. And that's okay because you have plenty of space down here that you can work with. So I would say bring that down a little bit, give us some more description. Same with marketing traffic coordinator. Whoops, I want to see that. I want to see the marketing traffic coordinator. Give me some description on that so that they all kind of line up. You could also indent your bullet points. I know that you guys, this is like such little detailed things. I would indent the bullet points just a little bit more. It's just things that I notice. Also, I would love to see months on these positions. So rather than just years, give me the months and make it look, let me see. You'll notice in the example, this is how I want to see your dates. Okay, this helps applicant tracking systems. It's easy to read. It's sort of becoming the standard for dates on resumes. So I want to see that. I want to see the months in there. Same here. Give us the description and give it, if you have more of those quantifiable achievements, get those in there, because what I'm seeing is you've done really, really, really good up here, which is good because that's what most employers are going to read. But as I scroll down, I'm like, oh, I'm missing the numbers. I'm missing that data. Okay. So make sure you get that data in there. Education looks great. One thing I would love to see, Do you have, well, okay, first of all, if we bring this section, the skills and expertise, I want to see that at the bottom. Right below your education. So that's going to fill in that space. Do you have volunteer experience, professional memberships, continuing education? Do you have anything that is showing that besides your work experience, you're relevant in the field right now? That's what I would love to see. Awesome. Hopefully this is helping you guys. Yes, and I'm going to get to some questions. Let me actually, I'm going to go get into some of those because these reviews, oh my gosh, they're so awesome. And I could look at resumes all day long, but I want to see kind of some questions that have come up. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let me also mention, Tori is saying about the toolkit that there was a link not working, and that always happens when we're doing a live stream. So we have our team. She's emailed our team. They are working on it. So hopefully, if you guys are grabbing the toolkit, remember the first 20 people to enroll, get the cover letter, bonus cover letter workshop in with their toolkit purchase, and you have 48 hours to grab the interview confidence. It's a bonus training that we just added, the interview confidence training, job interview confidence training. That's in there as well. So if you're trying to get in, hopefully, Tori, they're working on it. I think she's saying that they are. And by the way, thanks, Tori, for like filtering comments and getting questions and working on links and all that good stuff. It's not easy to run a live stream with a lot of people. Okay, so many questions. I'm going to just kind of go through. Professor Kate asked a question. This is for students. Will you address their format and education sections? Should they list relevant coursework? Oh, this is such a good question. Okay, so when it comes to education for students, and Professor Kate, I'm assuming you're a college professor, not high school, right? So you're going to always list like your education in terms of like the school, the degree. If you have not yet finished your degree, you're just going to put expected graduation. If you, let's say, took a term off or took a semester off, you can say underneath that, without listing a date or anything, you can say relevant coursework completed or relevant coursework or something to that effect where they could list now the coursework. Now, what I've seen, the mistake that I've seen from people is that one of the mistakes that I've seen for people is they'll list, like let's say they didn't complete their education and they're like, oh my gosh, I took a productions and operations class, I took a business marketing, and they'll list like all these skills. I took humanities, they want to list all their coursework, but don't do that. Just relate. I would just say like 3 to 4 classes that relate specifically to the position that you're applying for or to the position that you want. Don't list everything. Okay, Robbie asked, is a summary really needed? Okay, I gotta show you guys this next resume. I'm gonna just quickly show it to you because I want to address the idea of the summary. So I get this question a lot, and in this next resume, this is the last resume, by the way, this person has an objective statement. So I think I get people confused by like, Heather, I heard we weren't supposed to add summaries to a resume. And I think here is where the confusion comes in, is that it's really an objective that you shouldn't add, okay? So an objective is something that we put on resumes a really long time ago. And this is where we told the employer, this is what I want. And this is a really good example. And this is why I wanted to thank you, resume number 4, by the way, for letting me share your example. This is why I wanted to bring this one up, because this one is an objective. So this person is saying, I am looking for this, okay? We definitely don't want to do that. We definitely don't want to say, this is what I want out of a position. Rather, and that's an objective. That's my objective for this position is yada, yada, yada. We did that like years and years ago. What we're doing now is we're including a summary, a professional summary, a career summary, whatever you want to call it, that gives a quick glance into who you are and how you can help that company. So that if I'm a recruiter and I'm looking for all these positions and all this stuff, or I'm looking at all these resumes, I want to be able to like look at your summary and know right away. Like if I could, let me just show you really quickly what I would be doing for the resume. Okay, so at the top, I'm going to really quickly see, okay, this is the position. These are the 3 key skills you have. I'm probably going to read the summary really quickly. I may glance at these bullet points really quickly, and then I'm going to jump right down and I'm going to look at where your experience is, the dates you were employed. I might even read like 1 or 2 bullet points here. I'm going to look at the dates again of the next positions. I'm going to glance through this super fast. I'm going to really quickly look at education, technical skills. I may or may not even look at professional involvement. Okay. That's how fast it goes. So at the very top of your resume, you want to be able to catch them really fast and say, hey, look, yoo-hoo, future employer, I am applying for the vice president of sales position. I know that these are the 3 key skills that you need in that person, and I have them. And then I know that you also need someone that's reliable, energetic, resourceful, yada, 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 and I have that. And then here's some of my experience, and here's what I'm able to help you with. That's what I want to see in a summary. So again, we're not doing an objective. We're using a summary, a quick look at this as I've described this in the past as look at this as the movie, your movie trailer. Like if I'm going to go to a movie, I want to see the trailer, right? And if the trailer's good, I'm going to go see the movie. Well, your summary is the same thing. You're going to go, I'm a hiring official. If that trailer or that summary is good, I'm going to dive deeper and look at your resume a little bit more. So again, resume trends change. They're constantly evolving, especially in the job market that we are in right now. Things are changing. And if my opinion changes on that, I'm going to tell you guys. I'm going to be like, look, don't include this. And you're going to find a lot of other career resources and training out there that might teach you something different. What I want you to take away from this is I want you to do what's best for you and your work experience. Okay. So you've got to say, hey, I don't want that core competency section on my resume. Well, don't include it. Or I want to have maybe 3 highlights or 5 highlights. You got to do what fits your background and your history and your experience and your talents and the position. Okay. Every resume is going to look a little bit different. The resources that I provide for you here on this channel and out there on the internet is to help streamline that so that it takes all that second guessing out of the process and it saves you time. So again, back to that summary question. Yes, I like the summary because if I'm looking at resumes, I want to know really quickly who you are and how you can help me. Okay. I don't want to have to like glance through every single bullet point on your work experience and all that stuff, but just no objective statement. So that was a really good question, Robbie. Thanks for asking that. Let's see, Susan. Hello. So Susan says, what's your opinion on periods at the end of bullet points? I say no, they aren't sentences. Oh, this is such a good question. I love detail. And so I love questions like this. Susan, I actually like bullet points on a resume. So I get this a lot because I review a lot of resumes. Let me just see if I can pull this up again really quickly because I want to show you. Let me get to the screen. I have so many different screens here. I want to just show you really quickly. I like to include them. So you'll notice that there's a bullet point at the end of each of these. You'll also find a bullet point at the end of the sentences on in the work experience. So it's really personal preference, but I like them. I like bullet points. I don't know. It might just be like my detail-oriented brain that's like, there's not a bullet point there. There's not a sentence there. And I noticed that. It's really weird. Oh, okay. Let me jump to this because there's another thing on this resume I have to show you guys. Okay. So love that I can see the dates. The dates are great. They're awesome. Love that I can see the name of the company. I want to see the title bold, but here's the thing I'm missing. There's a few things I'm missing in this resume. Number 1, the positions are actually bulleted. I don't want the positions with a bullet. I want the items underneath the position bulleted. So these need to be bulleted. All of these little items here, that needs to be in a bullet point. that falls under the company name and the title. The other thing is this resume has references. Oops, whoopsie. This resume has references. I don't want references on a resume. This is something totally separate that you are going to do on a separate sheet. You're going to send that to them when they're ready for your references or when they ask for it. Never on the resume. The other thing too is notice that in this position, this person's resume, the education, they've included their high school, and we don't need to include high school if we have a college or some college experience. So take that high school education off. Don't include it in there. There's a lot of good things going on, but then there's a lot of really good things we could do to improve this resume. Again, let's get those bullet points under the position. Let's get the company name, the title, all that good stuff. And again, that's all inside of the toolkit. If you guys have a resume that needs some serious help, I highly recommend grabbing the toolkit to give you that leg up, to give you that help. Now, I want to show you really quickly. I know we're kind of getting short on time here. On the Career Advancement Toolkit, this is the page that you'll go to enroll. I want to scroll down. You guys are going to see all of this good stuff when you go to this page. Let me just grab the thing because I should have probably scrolled down earlier. I want to show you, and all those testimonials you guys are going to find on there. In fact, I don't even have all of them on there. I need just a testimonial page, but you'll notice this is what's inside. So you can, and I don't even have everything that's inside on this page, which is fine. You guys can see it when you grab the toolkit, but notice the professional executive resume template, professional cover letter template, all of your follow-up templates for after your interviews, rejection follow-up template, that's in there, phone interview follow-up template, your reference sheet, which we talked about, resignation letter template. These are just some of the templates that's inside of the toolkit. And as I mentioned earlier, because I work with so many job seekers on a weekly basis, and they're like, Heather, hey, do you have a template for this? And if I don't, I'm like, I don't have a template for that. I'm going to get that written and I'm going to put it in the toolkit. So we're constantly adding little things to that toolkit, and you have lifetime access to it. If in a year you're looking for a whole new position. Let's see. Let me look at a couple other questions. Someone says, should we cut off past roles that are not relevant to the job application? It depends on how long ago the role was. So if it was 10 to 15 years ago, yep. And if you have enough experience to fill in and make a really good depth, a resume that has a lot of good details in there, you can remove it. Kim, hello. How to best list multiple jobs within the same company. There have been some in your examples, but I have experienced ATS having difficulty reading them. Yes. So I actually did this training recently for my World Class Career Academy students. There's a lot of ways you can list the position within the same company. It depends on the role, and it also depends on how different your position was. So if you can have the company name would be like the main title of the company, right? And then under that, you have the title and some bullet points, and then another title and some bullet points. I like that the best if you can show that there was a clear change in your job duties. Okay. That's probably the best way to do it. But it depends on your situation and when that advancement happened and that kind of stuff. Tiffany, hello. I'm so happy you're here. Tiffany says, is there any benefit to including continuing education courses? I'm a CPA and need CPE credits each year. Yes, I actually really like continuing education courses. I've worked with clients in a lot of different ways in terms of how to structure that. So again, it depends on your field. It depends on if you have to list certification numbers, certification dates. I work with engineers that have to do that, and it's very needed in their industry. If you have an industry that's that's cool, but we really don't care, you don't need to list it. But I always think, even if you need to combine it with another section, I've done that before. where to beef up that section, it might be continuing education and licenses, or continuing education and training. And then you list some more of that relevant experience. I think anything you can add that just tells your story a little bit better and says, hey, like I have this certification or I have this training, the better. Okay. Really good question though. Let's see. Some more questions. What if you're a recent grad with no experience? I was told to focus more on my skills and quantify those. Yes, if you are a recent graduate with not a lot of experience, you have to really dig deep here and think about what can you offer? Like, what are some things, like what were some of the things you did in school, some of the projects you worked on? Did you do volunteer experience? There's so many different things that you can look at as a recent grad. Now, you're just going to have a one-page resume, which is totally fine, but you could have like a competency section or something like that kind of brings in, hey, even though I don't have like 5 or 10 years of experience in project management, let's say, maybe you took like 2 or 3 courses in it, or you know it really well, you can add that into a competency section if you needed to. Oh my gosh, there's so many good questions. I'm just trying to pick and choose a few of them that I can answer again. Let's see. Okay, so Emerald, hello Emerald. Emerald says, should it be on the body or section of the document, the section, page name, and phone number? Is it best for the file format to be in the body? Such a good question. So what Emerald's talking about is when you have your name at the top of the resume, and then on the second page, you're going to have your name and your phone number. I don't recommend having the name. In fact, let me pop this example up one more time. I don't recommend having this in a header. The reason why is because if you do, it's what we are seeing is that it's really hard for applicant tracking systems, like a system, if you put it into a system, to read that. So I wouldn't have it in a header. The second page, I think it's okay to put into a header if you want. I believe in this example, we've placed that in a header, but we've also, we've formatted this. Like this is like ninja formatting on a resume, right? We've formatted this in Word so that there is a horizontal line underneath, and that all is in the header. You could technically put that in the main section, but I like it in the header on the second page. And then on the main page, I don't want to see it in the header. And I see that a lot where the resume will come through in the names in the header, but I don't like that. I want it to be part of the main document. Oh my gosh, that's really good questions. Okay, for those guys that are still here, let me know what your biggest takeaway is from today's training. I want to know your biggest takeaway. Make sure you get that into the chat. And remember, grab the Career Advancement Toolkit. We have a flash sale running until Monday, where you can save big time on that resource. You also get access to a cover letter training if you're one of the first 20 to enroll. And again, by our 48-hour limited time bonus, which is a job interview confidence training. Again, you'll be added to all those resources as soon as you enroll. Let me know in the chat, what is your biggest takeaway from today? We covered a lot of content. I want to answer. Marina asked a question about Word or PDF. Here's the interesting thing that with Word or PDF, if you are sending your resume to a person, like a recruiter, your future employer that's like, hey, send me your resume, like anyone that, like a person that might actually read your resume, you want to send it to them in a PDF file. If you're sending it and you know for sure it's going into an applicant tracking system, they want it in a Word. They want to see, because it's easier for them to like read the document if it's in a Word format. So that's my professional opinion. Let me see what you guys are saying. Iris says, empty space is bad. Well, here's the thing. I love white space, Iris, but what I would say is we need to fill it in. We need to, especially if it's at the top of the resume, don't waste it. Okay. Use it really, really, really wisely. Kay says the resume review is really focused on summary. Love it. Thanks, Kay. David, need to start using Jobscan. Yes. And there's a link for you guys. And by the way, that's not an affiliate link. I just popped that link in for Jobscan. They do offer 5 free scans a month, I believe. And so I would highly recommend, if you find a position that you are really interested in, make sure you get your resume scanned up to the job posting in there so that you can see what you're missing. Susan says, biggest takeaway, must craft a summary. Resume will be naked and ineffective without it. I love that, Susan. That's a good takeaway. Wanda, summary include action verbs. Yes. David says, any advice for those who are applying from outside the U.S. and need visa sponsorship? Oh, David, this is a really good question. And this is one I'm not sure if we are going to be able to dive into today, but I would say, oh, geez, that's like a whole nother topic. I might try and do a live stream on that for you, David, because I get that question a lot. Let's see. Reviewing the resumes. Awesome. Good. Yes. Thanks, Marina. I'm so glad that you guys were able to attend. Dan asked 1 column or 2 columns. And I'm not sure what you mean by, I think what you're talking about is more of like an infographic resume. We didn't even cover that today. I say no columns, so just 1. Don't put your resume in columns. It makes it really hard for the applicant tracking system to read it. Yes. Awesome, you guys. So good. Yep, I did answer the question about bullet points, Professor Katie. You'll have to check that one out. Yep. Thank you, Tori. You guys say thanks to Tori because she is so amazing. We couldn't pull these live streams off without her, especially the preparation that goes involved and the emails we get and the questions we get and all the technical difficulties that come up during these things. Keep your eyes open. We will be doing a career workshop coming up here in the next month or so. I'll let you guys know all about that as we approach that. Thank you for attending this live stream with me today and for staying online with me for so long. Hopefully you guys learned something. I want to hear about your successes. So when your resume is done and you're landing more interviews and your ideal job offer, please send me a message because I want to hear all about it. It's been amazing to spend some time with you guys today, and we will definitely be in touch. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on this video. Don't forget to subscribe so that you're notified when I am live doing these trainings or when I host a new video. And I hope to see you guys inside the Career Advancement Toolkit, and we'll talk soon.